Don't forget to like and subscribe, and share your opinion down below. Our stories today are from the subreddit r/am I the a-hole. Check the description for the links and timestamps. Am I the a-hole for screaming at my sister and telling her she is not actually pregnant? I, 35F, am pregnant with my sister's, 30F, child. My sister has some fertility issues and is not able to have a safe pregnancy. I offered to carry the baby for her and her husband. I am now currently 6.5 months along and everything is going well. Once we found out I was pregnant, my sister made the decision to live like she herself is the one pregnant. I found it odd, but I didn't see an issue with it. I understood that she is going through an emotional time. I mainly thought this was going to be something just between her and her husband. I was wrong and she has begun to act pregnant in her daily life. At first it was just small things like having her husband run out to get food she was craving, but it developed into things like wearing maternity wear. She also gets annoyed if I talk about my cravings or pregnancy symptoms around her. These things don't bother me much and I just think my sister wants to feel involved. Today my sister wanted to go shopping to look at baby things since the stores have reopened in our area. The day started with her getting angry whenever sales staff would talk to me. I would explain to the salespeople that my sister is the mother whenever it was needed. After a few stores we arrived at a baby retailer where she wanted to make a baby registry. By this point I was extremely tired and wanted to go home. I had told my sister this and she promised this would be the last store. I must have looked exhausted because as we were waiting the salesperson brought over a chair for me to sit while the registry paperwork was done. When she brought it over she did say something like, "Here's a chair for mom." I didn't correct the salesperson this time and just sat down. My sister told me to get up and give her the chair after I had sat down. I asked her why and tried explaining that I was tired. My sister berated me by saying the salesperson said the chair was for the mom and that she was supposed to sit. She said that this was her registry appointment and how dare I act like this was all about me. She said she was the one who was the expectant mother and that she needed to sit down now. I told my sister that yes, she is going to be the mother, but I am the one that is currently pregnant. I snapped at her that she is not actually pregnant and does not get how exhausting it can be. I told her I am trying my best to appease her, but she is being ridiculous. My sister began to cry, saying that I was shaming her for not being able to get pregnant and that I was making fun of her. I tried to defend myself and tell her that is not what I meant. She wouldn't listen and ran out of the store. Everyone in the store was staring at us. They were looking at me like I was a complete monster after hearing what my sister said. My mother says that I should have just let my sister have the seat. I know this whole thing must seem so small and stupid because it's about a chair. I don't know if I am the asshole in this situation or not. Not the a-hole. Your sister needs therapy quick before the baby comes and then probably for a while after. She is clearly struggling with her maternal identity in this situation. You are doing something amazing for her. I'm sure it's hard for her to see you pregnant and doing things she can't, but she needs to get a grip. Not the a-hole. What your sister is going through does not give her the right to mistreat anyone, let alone the person who is doing her this tremendous favor. I hope you will continue to maintain your boundaries. Not the a-hole, but clearly your sister is sensitive and might be better shopping alone. I understand how exhausted you must have been. She clearly is suffering some mental issues and hopefully she gets some help. I am concerned how she will behave once the baby is born if she still overanalyzes everything you do. OP, the situation you're in is really tough, but like others said, it appears she really needs therapy. The faster the better. Her behavior towards you is not excusable, though. You know you've done her nothing wrong. On the contrast, you are offering your own body to help her. That's amazing on your side. I don't think parents or husband should have humored her behavior and instead found her the help she needed. Not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for refusing to give my nephew's necklace to my stepson? My nephew Adam passed away from cancer. His heart was full of kindness and he'd always given his time and effort to help everyone. He got sick for a whole year and passed away at 24. He left behind his 3-year-old son. His ex-girlfriend and him separated, but he still saw his son often. It's devastating. His son will grow up without his dad. Only thing he has of him which is very personal is his necklace. Adam used to wear it all the time. He wore it for years and it became a part of him. 1 week before his death, we were talking and he mentioned seeing his mother coming to take him in his dream. He looked worried, like he knew something. He gave me his necklace and asked me to keep it and give it to his son once he's old enough to realize it's from his dad, because he had a feeling he won't get better. Said he knew his ex wouldn't do it, so he trusted me. I cried, which caused him to cry as well. I remember this conversation vividly. I brought some of his belongings to my house. The necklace was put in my closet in a box I bought. It's been 10 meters now. Yesterday, I saw my stepson walking out of my bedroom. I asked, but he didn't say why he was there. At dinner, my stepson kept nodding to my husband as if he was sending signals. I asked what was going on and my husband said my stepson accidentally saw Adam's necklace and liked it a lot. He said he tried it on for a minute and quickly became attached to it. I was confused. Then he proceeded to ask if I could let him keep it for some time and promised he'd take care of it. I refused. My husband gave me a look. Then I argued with him, saying this isn't for me, I'm just holding it for Adam's son. He said Adam's son is still a kid and won't be able to realistically wear it until years later. He said my stepson can hold it for him by wearing it and guaranteed he won't lose it or anything. I refused because my stepson always loses items. That my husband said I was being irrational and unreasonable. I explained, but my stepson went upstairs looking upset. My husband argued that my stepson will think I'm refusing because I don't trust him to be responsible with it, but I feel uneasy with the necklace being with someone else. I told him it was not up for discussion and he said this wasn't a way to have a civil talk by refusing to discuss it in the first place. I left the kitchen after that. I called my sister to vent. But she said I should just give it to him if I don't want to ruin my relationship with my stepson. Ignoring that it means a lot because it's Adam's. My stepson is 16 years old. Not the a-hole. Your husband is an a-hole for not setting boundaries for his child. No is a complete sentence. He is not entitled to a necklace that doesn't even belong to you. It belongs to your nephew's son and anything else would be extremely disrespectful. Your husband needs to do better. Not the a-hole. I would recommend getting a bank deposit box with your name, as well as your nephew's name attached to it. Put the necklace there, and hopefully it will be forgotten by your stepson. If you're able and would like to, maybe get your stepson his own necklace in a similar style. I'm so sorry for your loss and wish you the best. Absolutely not the a-hole. It's terrible that your husband and stepson are pressing this issue. Even if you had no intention of passing it on to your nephew soon, it's a keepsake from someone who meant a lot to you. You aren't obligated to share it. Also, tell your stepson to stay out of your room without your permission and to keep his hands off your stuff. Your post does not say stepson was close to your nephew. Op. To him it is just a piece of jewelry, not an item of emotional value. So, you have every right to be angry at them for snooping. And the husband is unbelievable. If anything, he's the most a-hole here. How did he think it's okay to let his son rampage through your possessions and wear something this valuable to you without consent? He's practically teaching him that it is okay to steal. Am I the a-hole for not cancelling my doctor's appointment and causing my husband's guests to leave? Me F26 and my husband M29 moved out of our hometown right after we got married. He is very close to his friends that he met from high school. He tries to use every opportunity to see them in person and spend time talking to them. He heard that 3 of them were visiting our city for 2 days and they wanted to visit him the day before they leave the city. He was so excited. Prepared everything for their visit and stood at the door waiting for them for an hour. They arrived at 4. I made coffee and brought sweets so my husband could spend more time talking to them. Then he suddenly looked at the clock, which was 5 p.m. and told me to go upstairs so he could talk to me privately. My husband freaked out, saying he had an important meeting with a client via Zoom. And it would take about 40 minutes for it to be over and asked if I could stay with his guests till then. I reminded him I had an appointment with the doctor at 5:15 and couldn't skip it. He asked me to cancel it and stay with the guests. He didn't even want to hear my response. Just rushed out for his meeting. I got dressed and went downstairs. I told his guests that my husband had a 40-minute meeting and I had an important appointment with a DR. Told them they could wait or leave if they didn't want to wait. They chose to leave. And I went to my appointment. In 45 minutes I got an angry call from him asking why I told his guests to leave instead of sitting with them till he was done with his meeting. Said he missed his friends and wanted to talk to them more. He said I always let him down and act unsupportive, although he always entertained my family when they came to visit. Truth is, he just loves spending hours talking to my brother because they share a lot of interests. So, he wasn't doing it for me. He argued about how I was being negative. And how his friends must have felt awful being kicked out like that. He said I could have gone to my appointment 40 minutes later and explained to the doctor. But that's not how doctor appointments work. We argued back and forth. Everyone in the waiting room was staring at me because of how loud my husband was talking. Till he hung up on me, then sent me a text. With the word selfish in capital letters. S-E-L-F-I-S-H. I just couldn't stay. I've waited for a week for my appointment. I understand he misses his friends. But this appointment was important as I've been constantly dealing with an unbelievable pain and needed to see the doctor as soon as possible. I've been on medication but it's not doing much. Just sitting in the waiting room is exhausting in itself, so it's not like I went out with friends. So your husband has a double appointment, tells you 5 minutes in advance to cancel all your plans so he can have everything his way, and then calls you selfish. The worst thing is that now you are actually wondering if you're the a-hole while it's quite clear who actually is. Not the a-hole. He could have explained it to them himself and asked them to wait. It's not on you to do that for him. Plus, he left before you could say no. And texting U.S.E.L.F.I.S.H. This guy is such a butt. Not the a-hole, you selfish? Absolutely not. You prepared drinks and sweets so your husband could have more time with his friends. He is the one who invited them over while having a Zoom meeting scheduled. He is the one who asked a huge favor of you with only 15 minutes notice. He is the one who prioritizes his friends over your health and well-being. I get that he is disappointed, but he should be angry at himself and his poor planning and not you. Does he often consider his needs more important than yours? If so, that calls for a serious conversation. OP, your husband's behavior here is outrageous. How did he expect you to cancel an appointment just so he's have his day going the way he pleases? When the appointment is even essential, and you were already in pain. If anyone is selfish here, it's him. I can't believe the nerve of this man. He should have had you as his priority, not his fun time. If his friends mattered this much, why didn't he cancel his Zoom call instead? It is worrying that you're questioning if you're the a-hole. He is not entitled to your time at all. They were his guests. Please take care of yourself first and don't let his childish behavior affect you.